Good morning, everyone. Today it's my pleasure to introduce Linda Beck, who actually is going to give you a little bit of background about the Summer Fusion program, and then you will hear from participants themselves. So, Linda.
Thanks, Kirsten. I told Kirsten that I wanted to do this so that the students that are here today, who are the main speakers, can tell you all the exciting stuff. I just give you the background so you know what they're talking about. Actually, 3 years ago, Lisa Elrich and I and a few other colleagues wanted to put together a new first-year seminar program that involves heavy experiential learning before the students even start their semester. So 1 week prior to orientation, who we fabulously have, Kirsten, as our incredible leader of orientation at UMF. 1 week before that, students come to campus and they start their first year seminar in what we call first year fusion, a fusion of first year seminar and experiential learning. And they go all over the state of Maine, and actually this year went even to New Hampshire. Some are based here at UMF, but then go and meet with all different kinds of people across the entire state. It's a really incredible opportunity to help our students not only enjoy the experiences that they have and the bonding that they have with their classmates, and I might add 24/7 mentoring by a faculty member or more, but on top of it, it's a great opportunity for them to see how experiential learning connects up with academic learning. We all know that for them to succeed when they leave UMF, it's making that connection with what's happening outside of campus so that they understand the connections with what's happening on campus. So where does Rotary come in? So last spring, actually, I had put out on social media a request saying, oh, we're a little short on different types of equipment for first year fusion. Does anybody have loaners that they can give? And a fellow Rotarian said, hey, why don't you approach Rotary? And the reason we were having this new equipment need is because we went through some serious growing pains this past summer. We piloted in 2019 3 sections. We expanded by just 2 sections the following year, which was a challenge in and of itself because of COVID. Yeah, Lisa and I remember those days. But then this year we doubled our size. Now, as a result of doubling our size, we were very fortunate. We have something called the Catalyst Fund at UMF, where it's subsidized so that the students didn't have too large of a course fee. We also have, many of you are familiar with the TRIO or the Johnson Scholars Program. Our colleague Lynn was able to give some scholarships to students. These are students that are either first generation and or low income. And so that helped them not only pay for the course fee that remained, but also buying some of the equipment. But we were still shy on a lot of different types of equipment. And so thanks to Kirsten and Lisa, who presented it to the board last spring, Rotary agreed to give us some funds to be able to pay for some of the equipment that we needed to be able to do. So I've just listed up here a few of the course themes, but I've asked some students, and can I just tell you how amazingly happy I am to see them this morning? This is a day off from classes. They are here. Yeah, they deserve it. So it's not like, okay, they're going to go from here to their next class. They're going to go from here back to bed. So it's amazing that they were willing to come this morning and shows their dedication. I think really also how much they got out of this program, that they are willing to do that this morning. I just want to turn it over to each one of them to talk to you a little bit about their own personal experiences, and then afterwards, please feel free to ask them questions. Zac, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Recording in progress. Oh.
This work. Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Feel free to adjust
okay.
so we can
Move it up.
you.
How's that? Good. Good morning, everyone. My name is Zac Flum. I'm a junior at UMF, and for my course, I did Making Change in Maine. So for this course experience, I both did it as a freshman at UMF, like the first ever fusion class. I was a part of it, and also as a TA this year as a junior. And so basically, for Making Change, we went around my freshman year. around the entire state of Maine, like interviewing and going to see like change makers. So people looking in like the environmental fields, like using talking about sustainability to promote change both in Maine and in this year we stayed a week in Acadia National Park and went around that area, also interviewing change makers and trying to find ways, especially around down in Bar Harbor, how people are looking towards working to find ways to be sustainable in Maine. And also so as a whole experience, I'd say my class so taking this class before my freshman year classes was absolutely was a big game changer for me, because I feel like you're put out into like multiple fields before going into college, so it makes like the whole atmosphere like so much different compared to high school, where in college like you're giving so much more availabilities and so much more like experience, both with this class, because it gives you like a good way to get out there and to look at like future employers, because even this class influenced me to change my major. To change my major into geography and environmental policy and planning after this class. So I feel like it was a really big influence and benefit for me after my freshman year, and I was so glad to go back my junior year. And yeah, it's just a lovely way to get out there and experience places around Maine in your freshman and your junior year. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. What? Oh, this one.
There you go. Great.
Hi, I'm Manu Ritchi. I am a freshman at UMF, and I participated in Arts and Experience in America. It was taught by Kristen Case and Erin Wojnski. We had technically 2 classes, but they combined it into one, both for the pre-orientation aspect and the rest of the class. So Arts and Experience in America basically consisted of us traveling to New Hampshire for 4 days, and we stayed in the woods at Camp Waiokila. And throughout the pre-orientation trip and then later into the class, we read a bunch of literature about the process of creating art. So whether that was writing art or music or like drawing, painting, that type of art. And we definitely touched upon some big names like Thoreau or Emerson and Dickinson and Ives, but the point was less about that, and it was more about the themes of the works we were reading. Just kind of unpacking what it means to be a creator. One of the big projects we did in the class pre-orientation was something called a creative practice. So we all had to pick a different activity that we would do every day or a couple times a week. It varied from person to person, that would explore some sort of creative aspect, and it was something that we would do over and over and over again. My creative practice was to take all the new people I was meeting and turn them into character profiles and pinpoint different aspects about them and kind of like break them down, and then later be able to turn around and use them in books or TV series or whatever I was working on. I'm a creative writing major, to clarify that. But there were all sorts of different ideas. There was some stuff with world building. I had a friend who did a poem that for the entire time, he just added a couple lines to it every single day. So he ended up with this ever-growing poem. I think he's still working on it now the class is over. So it was supposed to be a semi-sustainable practice that would just get us into the mind frame of looking at creation, like creating things. Thank you guys so much for your donation. You should know that you're giving money to a really good program. I was admittedly skeptical about the idea of fusion at first, I am very close with my family, and the idea of coming to school a week before I had to and leaving them a week before I had to was not appealing at first, but the program actually helped me step away from that homesickness, because these people that I was in the class with, I got very lucky. We like to claim we're the best fusion group. I don't know if that's true or not, but these are still the people that I'm having meals with daily and spending my weekends with. I mean, they're my family away from family at college that I didn't think I would be able to find. And they're able to become that because of those days we spent in New Hampshire. We like to joke that it was 4 days. It felt like 4 years. They just stretched out forever, and you could not know someone at the beginning of the day and be best friends with them at dinner time, just because we were spending so much high-intensity quality time together. Professors were also amazing. They're kind of our surrogate parents now, and we know that if we ever needed something, they would be on call. They would be able to help us. We have needed stuff in the past, and they have been on call, and they have helped us out. So your money is going to an academic program, but it's not just going towards that. So thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Fallon Smith. I did the program Good Life, and I'm a first-year freshman. Colby was actually my TA, and she also did it, so that was amazing to have both her experience coming into this and learning about it from her, but also experiencing from my own. We focused on what it really meant to live the good life, and we got this amazing book from our professor, Phil Francis, and we read 1 to 2 chapters of this book every day, and then we discovered and looked upon the chapter in the world. So we went on, you can see here that this is our learning space. It's called the Gathering Space. We use it as our classroom and a yoga studio and a place to debrief and just kind of cool down. And it was actually a tree house. It was up in the trees, and it was wonderful. We went out to a peninsula in Georgetown for a week. And we got to live in cabins, and this gathering space was actually we had to cross a bridge to get over to it. It was incredibly beautiful. So we went on kayaking trips, and we discovered awe and wonder and all this amazing stuff that I've taken out, and I still look around and see this awe and wonder through this perspective, through this mindset that Phil has taught us through his time. We also went to the island of Seguin, and you can see this is our trip to there. Which bonded us really well. We were able to hike up to the top to the lighthouse and watch the view, the sun rising across the ocean. It was so gorgeous. I would go back there any day. It was just an amazing experience. Yeah, I mean, I've met some of my best friends here. We all didn't come from Maine. I mean, I'm not originally from Maine, and my best friend now is from California. We all came here, and it was amazing to have this experience and have this first year fusion, and meeting people. I came back after that week, and I was helping people move in. And it was amazing because they were like, "Oh wow, you're a junior, right?" And I'm like, No, I'm a first year. I'm a freshman. I'm here with all of you guys. I'm just hanging out." And it was just I already felt like I had a home here at Farmington, and it was honestly amazing. I felt like I was already comfortable and I was already part of the community. And it's amazing how Farmington does that in general as a school, which is amazing. But this first year fusion really gets your foot in the door, and it's. I'll take this class again any day. And I'm actually taking a class with this professor because I liked him so much next semester. So it was a great experience.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Colby True, and like Fallon said, I was the TA for this program this year. I was, along with Zac, a guinea pig of the program in 2019, where they were just getting started, and they figured out a lot of things since then in the best way. It's a very smooth running program now. And I TA'd last year in 2020, and I also TA'd this year. And last year we were on campus at UMF, so I have some parallels of seeing what TAing's like on campus and also at Seguinlan Institute in Georgetown. And I really loved the program when I went there for the first time. New beginnings, on wonder, solitude, so many themes from Henry David Thoreau and David White, and the book Braiding Sweetgrass, just incorporating so many elements of what it's like to live the good life into your start of your college career is so vital for students, because when you come into college, you can just feel so overwhelmed and not really knowing how to feel settled in your own self, let alone the campus that has just welcomed you. And so having this background knowledge the week before I started my classes really helped me to just be so settled in who I was and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to get out of my academic career here at UMF. So I am eternally grateful for taking the good life in 2019. And then as far as being a TA, it has just taught me a lot about what it means to have great leadership skills and when to step up and when to encourage peers, much like Fallon and all of the students who took that course. And it was definitely interesting to see them at the beginning of the week, and then by the end of the week, I felt like I was friends with them, and I felt like we could morally support one another, and it provided them a bridge to upperclassmen and vice versa. So I felt like I was not only connected with my early childhood education major, but also with many students throughout the campus. This space, the Seguinlan Institute in Georgetown, is just phenomenal. The gathering space, when I was there, was just a platform in 2019, and I had to get there via zip line. And so the advancements that have been made there with the completed gathering space, and there's now even, it wasn't even there when they were there, but there's now a cookhouse there also for the students. And they all stay in a variety. There's 8 different cottages that they can choose to stay in, and usually there's 3 or 4 active for this program. And they're pretty homey, they're pretty cozy. So yeah, it was just an incredible experience, both as a student and as a TA, and I would recommend this program to any student who feels like they could get a little bit more enrichment prior to starting their academic career here. And then we also have this t-shirt that we'd like to present to the president. Cute fusion t-shirt for this year. You're welcome. I'm wearing the same one too, but we can match.
Oh, love it. Well, thank you very much.
And then, yeah, thank you guys so much for your donations and your time this morning. It means so much to feel like we have the community resources also to continue this program. So thank you so much.
Anyone have questions for Linda or any of the students about the program?
You get to choose the individual programs you want to be part of, or are you assigned?
When I started, I got to choose my top 3, and my first pick was The Good Life, and then I picked my second choice and my third choice. And depending on how much overflow comes in, you may get your first choice, you may get your second choice, but honestly, you can't go wrong in any of the options. They're all incredible. So.
Did you two get your first?
Yes.
And I just had a quick question. You talked about like the place in Georgetown. Is that a University of Maine location, or is it a place that is like?
So, Phil Francis, who's a professor of philosophy and religion here, also has his own Seguinlan Institute gap term program down there. So a couple times a year, he'll have either a 4-week or a 9-week program where students, probably about 16 to 20 from all over the country, will come and take a 9-week immersive, extensive Good Life program. So, like Fallon and I, when we were in Georgetown, we did the first week, which was a very rigorous week, and then we came back to UMF, finished the course, whereas the gap term program is the full 9 weeks, just stretched out, and it's all up there at the Institute. Yeah.
UMF has a formal partnership with Seguinlan
Yes.
Institute.
Okay, great. Are there any, do you guys on Zoom have any questions? You guys all set?
What percent of freshmen participate in the program?
That's a really good question. What we're proud of is this year it got up to 1/3.
Wow.
And it's voluntary.
It is
They choose to participate.
Yeah, it is voluntary. Actually, Lisa and I are working on, never stop. We're working on next summers already. And my personal hope is we are, faculty have sabbaticals and things like that, so we've got some people that are coming and going, but we should have at least 10, and we're thinking probably 12. I'd like to see us increase it by maybe 20 or 30 students, but not too many, because it's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot of logistics. I mean, once they're off and gone, but, just the transportation alone presents all sorts of crazy issues, trying to make sure we have enough vans and how many, a lot of things are restricted to how many people you can put in a van. And, with COVID, of course, we did a lot of this for the last couple of years. We're going, we're not going, we can only fit so many people in a van. Okay, we're full van. I mean, so it's interesting. And then, typically we could supplement with some rentals from Enterprise, but Enterprise couldn't get us any van this year due to COVID. So Linda was like, Jenga with like all of the logistics with this. And then, because you're trying to manage, we're trying to keep the students focused. They're nervous a lot of times thinking about coming into this. They're already anxious to a certain degree. They're excited but anxious about coming to college, and now they've got this whole week thing. I'm doing what, and I've got to go where? And you sent me the packing list, and a month ago when I signed up for this sounded great, and now I got to do what? I mean, so you're trying to manage those things on one side. You're trying to keep the faculty, pointed in the right direction, because it's a lot. This week is a lot for them to manage once they leave here. They don't just have the class, they have these students 24/7 for the duration of that experiential learning. So they learned a lot the first year about, how to support the students in a very different way than just in the classroom and, those out of the classroom experiences. They're eating 3 meals a day together, they're together.
Which is a good reason to point out that our 2 TAs that are here, they do an amazing job. The faculty could not do it without the TAs, and part of it is providing that emotional, social support. We did a bit of training this year. That was the first time we did, as you know, because the first year we didn't do any training. We were like, throw you into, right? And I can tell you, actually you just said that you're going to do a Friendsgiving amongst the TAs. And I know, I just did a debriefing, a focus group with students from the different programs, and they all insisted on how critical that TA and how they're still really close with that TA. Having a bond between a first-year student and an upper-class student is such an important thing in the transition.
So Linda, in a non-COVID world, which we hope we can get to sometime, how large do you see this program becoming?
I know the provost would like every single student to have this, and I'm going to tell you that I don't think that's going to happen, because there are some students that make the decision they want to hang out with their family or they want to work, or etc. But what we're doing actually this coming year is we're changing the program slightly, where we're going to have, crazy as it is, Lisa, we're going to have a second fusion week in the end of July. And the reason is our athletes have not been able to do this because they're starting their fall season. So we've done that, and I've actually been working on, we were thinking of 2 possible fusion courses for the spring. They didn't end up panning out. I think we needed a little more beat time. So that would be the other way, Dennis, that we could expand the numbers. Because we have some students that come in the spring. We have some students, unfortunately, who don't pass in the fall. And then we also have some students who couldn't fit it in their schedule. So we want that opportunity to be available for students that take the first-year program in the springtime to also have this available.
Yeah, because I'm also curious as to whether or not you're going to be needing more equipment in the future.
Yeah,
They need vans.
yeah, you got a van? You got a van? But that's a really good point. I would say 2 things. As Lisa knows, I'm pretty frugal. and I'm a wheeler dealer, and so I have been able to save some of the money that you folks gave us, so that I'm hoping for at least the pads and the rain gear, etc., that we will have enough for that for next year. I'll let you know. I think that if we do a winter time, for example, then we're going to need a different set of right? So that's going to be a different thing.
Long johns.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and we say that flippantly, but I'm going to tell you one of the biggest challenges in 2019, back to the wet socks we were talking about, because it rained. That week it rained continuously. So our students that were out there often didn't have the right kind of footwear. Some didn't even have the right kind of socks. I mean, we have students of the whole gamut in terms of their financial ability. And that was why, one of the reasons that Lynn Cliff Davis and I were working, and Lisa, and we're working on getting a scholarship. I think this year was $1,000, if I remember correctly. And the reason why is some of these students they don't even have the, sneaker hiking boots that they need to have, etc. So it helped them with not only their books, their course fee, but also having a sleeping bag, a pad, and that sort of thing. But we still were shy of these things, and it was because of Rotary that we were able to equip everyone this year. So thank you so much.
Great, well, thank you very much, I appreciate it. And just really quickly, Zac, if you could come up, I have a certificate for you for today, and also a Rotary mug, so you can go back to your room and put some coffee in it.
Put it under your pillow.
Yes, and Manu, I have a certificate for you, and also a mug. And we are short a couple of certificates because we got the date, we got the notification a little late, so I apologize for that. But I have a certificate. Thank you. I'd love to do as well.